What I'm about to tell you completely contradicts what your parents taught you, what your teachers told you, and what every financial guru on the internet keeps repeating. Saving money is making you poorer, and in the next minutes, I'm going to prove it to you with math. I'll also give you the exact 3-step framework that the top 1% of earners use instead, and you can start implementing it this week, regardless of how much you currently make. We spent months analyzing the financial habits of hundreds of millionaires, cross-referencing Federal Reserve data and historical market research. So everything you're about to see is backed by real numbers, not opinions. Here's what we're covering. First, I'll show you the brutal math that savings accounts are hiding from you. Second, we'll look at the psychological trap that keeps smart, hardworking people financially stuck forever. And finally, I'll break down what actually works and how to get started today. And before you click away, this is not about crypto, meme stocks, or risky bets. Even if you're starting from zero, even if you've been saving your whole life, this is exactly the information you need. Let's start with the math, because the numbers don't lie. Think about this scenario. You work hard, you follow the rules. Every month, you save $500. After a year, you've got $6,000 sitting in your savings account. You feel responsible, you feel secure, but here's what your bank statement doesn't show you. Right now, the average high-yield savings account pays around 4 to 5% interest annually. Sounds decent. The problem is inflation. In 2024, the average inflation rate was around 3.4%, which means your 4% return is actually only 0.6% in real terms. On that $6,000, you earned $36 in real purchasing power. $36. That's a Chipotle burrito bowl and a tip. But wait, it gets worse. That 3.4% inflation number is an average. The things that actually drain your budget, housing, food, healthcare, education, those went up 6%, 8%, even 12% in recent years. So for most people, the real number is much uglier. Now let's zoom out 30 years. If you put $10,000 into a savings account earning 4% annually, after 30 years you'd have $32,000. If you invested that same $10,000 in a simple S&P 500 index fund, historically averaging 10% annually, you'd have $174,000. Same starting amount, same 30 years. The difference? $142,000. Gone. Not stolen, not gambled away, just sitting in a savings account, quietly losing the race. And before you say, but investing is risky, we're going to get to that, because this is where the psychology gets really interesting. So the math is clear, but math alone doesn't explain why almost everyone still keeps their money in savings. That reason is buried deep in our psychology, and once I understood it, it completely changed how I think about money. Let's get into it. Let me tell you about a guy I'll call David. David grew up watching his parents pinch pennies. They taught him that a full savings account meant security, that debt was dangerous, that you never spend money you don't already have. So David did everything right, stable job, saved 20% of every paycheck. By age 35, he had $80,000 in savings. He felt proud, he felt safe. His coworker, let's call him Marcus, had the same salary, same income, but Marcus had $80,000 invested in index funds and ETFs. By age 55, David had $180,000 in savings after 20 more years of discipline. Marcus had $541,000 in investments. Same income, same time frame, same discipline, different result. The reason we save instead of invest isn't stupidity, it's evolution. Our brains are wired for loss aversion. The fear of losing what we have is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something new. This was useful when we were hunter-gatherers and keeping food in the cave meant survival. In the modern financial world, that same instinct is working directly against you. Keeping money in savings feels safe. Putting it in the market feels like gambling. Even though historically, over any 20-year period, the S&P 500 has never lost money, not once, in recorded history. And here's the cruelest part of this trap. The people who save the most diligently, the ones who sacrifice the most, who skip vacations, drive old cars, say no to everything, these are often the ones who end up most financially stuck, because they're doing everything right by the old rules. Rules that no longer apply. You're not failing because you're lazy. You're failing because you were given the wrong map. You now know the math and the psychology behind why saving alone doesn't build wealth. But knowing the problem is only half the battle. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact 3-step framework that wealthy people have been using for decades, and everything is actionable starting today. Here's the key insight wealthy people understand: they don't not save. They save strategically for a specific purpose, and everything else goes to work for them. Step 1. Build your emergency fund, and only your emergency fund, in a savings account. This is the one legitimate use of a savings account. You want 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting somewhere safe and liquid. That's your financial firewall. For most people, that's between $10,000 and $25,000. Once you hit that number, you stop. You do not keep saving beyond this point in a savings account. Done. Step 2. Every additional dollar you would have put in savings, you redirect to assets. The simplest and most accessible for most people is a low-cost index fund, specifically one that tracks the S&P 500 like VOO or SPY. You buy it through a brokerage account, set up automatic monthly contributions, and you don't touch it for decades. This is not complicated. This is not gambling. Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest investor in history, has literally written in his will that 90% of his wealth should be invested in S&P 500 index funds after his death. If it's good enough for Buffett's estate, it's good enough for you. Step 3. Use a simple allocation framework. First, if your employer offers a 401k with matching, maximize that match first. It's literally a 100% instant return. Free money. Second, max out a Roth IRA. That's $7,000 per year in 2025. This money grows completely tax-free for your entire life. Third, any remaining investment capital goes into a taxable brokerage account in low-cost index funds. Now, what if the market crashes? Here's the counterintuitive truth. If you're investing long-term and the market drops 30%, that's not a loss. That's a sale. Everything is on discount. Your monthly contributions buy more shares. And historically, every single crash in the S&P 500's history has been followed by a recovery to new all-time highs. The people who lost money in 2008 were the people who panicked and sold. The people who stayed in and kept buying doubled their money within 5 years. Let's bring this back to where we started. 2 people, same salary, same discipline. Person A saves $500 every month for 30 years at 4% average return. Final amount, $347,000. Person B invests $500 every month for 30 years at 10% average return. The S&P 500 historical average. Final amount, $1,130,000. The difference, $783,000. Nearly $1 million. Not because person B earned more, not because they took crazy risks, just because they understood that saving money and building wealth are not the same thing. So here's your action step, not next week. Today, open a brokerage account, Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab, all free to open, all highly regulated. Transfer whatever amount you would normally be sending to savings this month. Buy 1 share of VOO, SPY, or any S&P 500 index fund. That's it. You don't need to understand every detail. You just need to start. If this video changed how you think about money, hit subscribe. Every week we break down the financial concepts that schools don't teach and banks don't want you to know. In the next video, I'll show you exactly how to set up your brokerage account from scratch, step by step. See you there.